Hi Science 10, welcome to our physics unit, starting off with chapter 4 about thermal energy, and we're looking at, first of all, what energy is, and a definition of energy, and what's kind of the best overview of it is that energy is something that has the potential to change into another form. So when we look at electrical, magnetic, light, mechanical, gravitational, all these types of energies that there are all potentially able to turn into another kind of energy, and that's where it's useful for them to be part of technologies and machinery. And so the four general areas are potential energy, kinetic, which is energy of motion, heat, and electricity, the four main ones. So 4.1 is a bit of a historical look at how the steam engine evolved over time, and they picked that because it was very clear how one technology paved the way and gave ideas for the improvement on that technology and all the ways that that's evolved from way back in like 130 BC to the current uses of steam and how it had a role in the major changes around the world during the Industrial Revolution is why they profile the steam engine. So number one, I'll just number them off here. We talk about Hero's steam engine, and you can follow this in your textbook if you like, but we've got the sort of concise notes on the main points on the 5 types of steam engines in this PowerPoint. So Hero's steam engine was just a first look at the fact that the steam that was building up inside this, what they call a kettle, was going through these little pipes and causing this ball to go spinning, and that was showing that steam could actually cause some motion or some mechanical energy. And so that sort of was the idea that was used by the next guy, who was Savory, when he designed the steam engine, or had made steps towards designing a steam engine. So the steam engine is something that uses steam to make thermal energy do work and power the engine. And I guess a little cool intro, as we're going to be examining how the steam engine evolved, is to take a look at this little video link on the soda can steam engine. So take a look. The first practical steam engine, this was our invention number 2 that we're going to profile, was Savory, who was using this invention to basically pump water out of mines. And this would have originally been done with either manpower or horsepower. And so getting a little machine to do this was very big news. It wasn't that efficient. It was fairly costly, but basically it was something that was able to make this, the mine had water down here. It was able to, by heating up this water here, it was able to create basically a vacuum that would then pull water up out of the mine here. And it was a big improvement of the time. So Newcomen's engine, that was our inventor number 3, is where the steam engine had a little improvement where they could heat and cool a cylinder and then use that to pump the water out of the mine. And because it involved this piston here that would, when it was moving up, cause this vacuum to pull the water out of the mine, it was a big improvement. However, there was pretty slow process involved because you had to keep heating and cooling the system. James Watt is number 4 in our list of inventors here. And so he was actually repairing this Newcomen's engine and decided that he could maybe fix it up a little better and make it more efficient. And what he did is used, he had some valves in here, but he used a piston system, and the piston would go one way. If they opened the valve, the piston would go another way, because they kept redirecting where the steam came in, into which direction. And so because it was going in the two directions, they were able to use that to help a lot of big machines be invented. So this piston system was able to turn a wheel. They were able to use it eventually in trains and in boats, and it was this steam engine invention that really was kind of the leading invention towards the Industrial Revolution, because it was used in so much different machinery. You can take a look at these links for another closer look at that. And Watts was still using heat. It was in trains and boats, very useful, but it was still very big and not small enough that we could put it into a car or truck. And it was still not that efficient. There was a lot of basically heat given off out of the wood or coal that was used in all of these inventions. And so there was still room for improvement. So looking at the questions that were profiled to examine this, it was a double acting engine because there was a piston that was pushing in both directions. The valve was to direct the steam so that the piston can go in each direction. And the wear and tear was less because the engine stayed hot. It wasn't hot and cold system like Newcomen's. And because we see that levers and crankshafts were attached and wheels, a lot of different machines were invented using this Watts technology. So this led to the Industrial Revolution, and it says that many steam engines were using coal and wood, as I mentioned. And today we are actually mostly using steam engines for ocean liners and cruise ships. And that leads us to talk about guy number 5. That was Charles Parson, who used this curved blade system and passed steam through that, and developed the steam turbine that we're using now. And I think that just about wraps it up. And yeah, so I think we're just, as you make notes on the 5 different the inventors of the steam engine and how it progressed over time, we can take a look at these questions and I will post the answers. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 4.2, guys. Bye for now.